All right, good evening everyone. We're down here in Bigfoot Canyon, and thankfully I got somebody with me tonight, the author, Marianne. Okay, I'll put a link for her channel in. This is T-Max American Experience, and we are going to head out on an investigation, and we are going to be checking out the place that I call Bigfoot Canyon State Road Covered Bridge. Okay, this place creeps the heck out of me, so much so that I don't like doing this one alone anymore. So last time I was here, several rocks were thrown, weird creepy noises. Okay, you'll find that every time I've went down here to this place, there's always something going on. And okay, we are on a full moon night. The full moon is registering 140 degrees on the thermal. Okay, and it's nice because there is, pan this away, there's some light from that full moon. Otherwise this would be so pitch black dark you wouldn't be able to see your hand in front of your face. But the moon's giving us some good light. So we got two sides of this we're going to walk on. Okay, we're currently on the, basically what is around about the south side, I guess is the way you'd call this. It is a north-south road, but it winds. And the other side, the north side, is where there is some other paths, and we'll just do a short one on there. We also may head up, because just up the road here and right over to the side of us is Bear Creek, and Bear Creek Falls is just up the road, and we may go take a look around up there too, if time permits, and we're going to see what happens. So if you see something, you hear something, say something, drop in your comments what you think of things. We're already starting to hear some sort of little noises right when we got out of the car to get ready. And this area out here, a lot of the times driving out here, I will come across more wildlife than I'll see on the entire hike. And we did this time. We seen some deer coming out here. So we'll see what we find tonight. And let's see, this should be a good adventure. You ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my intro.
Now, Marianne's gonna be doing her channel. I'm gonna get up a little way from her so she can do an intro. I'll be just over here on the covered bridge part. So it is late. This hike will take us past midnight here. It is 11:43 at night. Clear, no wind at all, which is what I love. Full moon night, and it is cold again. It is running at about 41 degrees. Thankfully no wind chill. And on that note, okay, I do have the thermal running. Okay, and we're gonna see what we come up with. Okay, we're gonna stay close together because this is one of my fault things here. I was supposed to bring the radios in case we got separated, and guess what I forgot. So alright, so Marianne is new to some of this stuff, and she's getting into it and getting her channel. She's starting to get some good stuff going, so check out her channel. She was with us on a hike with the crew. So on that, she's gonna check out on the bridge first. Now you see water levels high, which does make the creek noisy. You can see there's been quite a few fishermen out. You can only go down this just a little ways. Marianne's up on the bridge. We are starting to get the steamy fog coming off of the water as well. So the noise of the water, that's going to be difficult to hear. Now I thought I was hearing some coyotes there, but I can't tell over top of the water. And I don't want to get too far away from her because, again, left the radios back. And she's coming down here. I'm going to let her catch up. And look, the water is definitely up and it's noisy. You know, and surprisingly, as cold as it is, we still have a ton of spider webs out here. Now you're going to try and scan this thermal. See, the water is definitely running warmer than the air. Water's running at about 48 degrees, and the temperature is, say, about 41, 42. So that's going to start creating some of that fog, especially with no wind. You can see it's made heavy dew on things here. See the spider web running right across there. So you can definitely see my breath too. Again, this path on this side here, I can't go too far and we end up going the other way. And we can't really go too far that other way, but it's worth checking it out. So water level's a lot higher than the last time I was down here. Ooh, I got eye shine down there. Where'd it go? It's something that was like out in the water. It's far down there and I can see it. I'll try and zoom in. Right? Oh, there's two of them. You can see, yeah, there's more. There's like a whole family of them. Those are smaller. It might be raccoons. There's not much further I can go on this path. But I see 4 different sets of eyes down there. And a little too far away. The thermal is not picking them up. Right there, boom, boom. And over there, there's a couple. Can't tell what they are, but they're low to the ground, which, again, we have river otters here, we have fisher cats. And we have the raccoons, the trash pandas. So it's one of those. Marianne's coming up behind. Sorry, I'm putting the camera up a little high. Yeah, I am a little bit on the thermal, catching some small signatures over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 sets of eyes still. Right, and there's another one, 5. There are 5 somethings down here. Oh, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 6. So definitely something. You know, those may be a little bigger than what I'm thinking. I cannot zoom in the thermal. I don't know. Those look like they're big. They're wading through the water. But I'm catching some smaller hits on the thermal. They're all going over there. I got 6 set of eyes over here. Okay. You can. Okay, right there's several of them over there, and then I counted at 1.6, but I can't tell what they are on the thermal. They look smaller. Could be raccoons, or could be we got river otters and fisher cats. But I've seen a group of raccoon, whole family of them together at Camp Pete along the Conneaut Creek before, like that late at night. But I can't get down there. We'll have to check the other side when we go down there. But look, there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I am on that too. Yeah, there was another one that went up over that way. Yeah, there's some foam right there. Yeah. Oh, you see it a lot along here. Let me zoom my camera back out. We'll have to try and see if we can get on the other side there and get them as far as we can really go without really getting into some deeper water, because last time I was here the water level was down more and I could walk down that way better. But,
yeah, so it was much drier. Okay.
All right. Okay. So again, I investigate looking for wildlife, okay, and the signs of wildlife, especially predator activity. But also, I love finding any of the wildlife. So we'll go under the. We'll be like, what is it? The Red Hot Chili Peppers. We're going under the bridge. Okay. I always got to do my Gen X references. So. Walk underneath there, and I'm going to want to break out into a song. This is an oak tree here. walking underneath. We've had some big storms with some high winds, and most of the acorns are gone at this point.
Yeah, totally.
So we shouldn't hear any so-called acorn dropping after some of the storms we had. Alrighty. You can see markers for the water level, and while that is lower, it's still deeper, too deep to walk in. Let's see the graffiti. We always got to check that out. So see who we can pick on here. Laney, well, Laney must have had a ladder. Anyway.
Peace.
Yeah.
There's a peace sign over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a lot of peace in this world. right
Pieces
now.
for pansies. Well, the only way that actual peace comes is when one side annihilates the other. That's just a fact. I didn't make it up. If everyone thinks that, like people are going to get together and just sing Kumbaya forever, it's not going to happen. One side has to destroy the other. That's historical. And so 20 years in the military, my mission was to blow people up and create peace. A little soggy. I constantly like to do the holding the camera with the left hand thing, spider webs. Yeah, I'm knocking them down for you. Okay. You realize some of my hikes I've come out with them literally with spider webs streaming off of me, off of my cameras, everything. I mean, there's been so many of them.
I know.
Like I couldn't knock them all down.
Yeah, I think I went for a few of them in the last hike.
Yeah, oh yeah. Because when you go with Jack, one thing you gotta learn is the path for something is merely it's a minor suggestion. No, I want to do this in a place where I'll be able to check it on the way out. I'm going to try and hang up a glow stick. Now, when we walk over onto this side, this literally is the woods that go into Tinker's Hollow. We're going to get our handy dandy blue glow stick going over here. There's a spider on the tree right by it. Okay, so that's our glow stick. Okay,
Flashlight keeps turning off on its own.
do you need another one?
No, that's the first time this is ever my spotlight.
All right.
Keeps automatically turning itself off. I got a couple of them on me.
Okay. I have 3 battery packs with me for my main one. And I got my 2 spares. Ooh. Hey, Marianne. I just heard a rock hit up here. Heard it hit out onto that bed. I heard a rock plop out onto that, like somewhere over here onto that. You know, my stomach's growling at me.
Yeah, I know. I just ate some divorce soup, a wedding soup.
A divorce soup.
My father's, he calls it divorce soup, wedding soup, because he's divorced.
Oh, okay.
After all these years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my stomach's growling at me. I should have grabbed a Chewy bar.
Wait, let me start doing the Seinfeld episode. Soup's not a meal. Okay. Soup can be a meal. Okay. That rock did hit up ahead over here, hit up onto this little, I don't know what you call it, a berm. Yeah, we had a couple really big storms.
This is what's interesting. Like,
Yes?
I mean, yeah, maybe the wind would knock it down, but it's upside down and it's straight in the ground.
Huh.
But then
Yeah,
again, it could be.
we also have a lot of fishermen down here too, so,
Oh, that's it. And markings.
and so but fishermen are daytime people, so. Yeah, that's that. Now, I have actually seen in my backyard where a big branch broke off and it stabbed directly straight into the ground. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the odds of it are pretty low.
It's not tight, but yeah.
Mhm.
Just moving
No,
it around.
It's
pretty loose.
it's neat on the thermal camera. I can see your fingerprints that you put on here. when you touch that, I can see the fingerprints.
Oh, I got my fingerprints on it now.
So it's still got a touch of heat where you were touching it there.
Alright, cool.
But-
At least we got some evidence.
Yeah. So, but it's neat how I can do that. Like, I got a spider web hanging off of me there. Trying to swat at it and hitting my camera. Okay. Did you hear that one?
Yeah. I feel like it was over here, but I also heard one way over here.
Now, I do got my ears covered with the cloth here. So so my hearing may be a little.
Yeah.
This is not heavy, but that was definitely a hit, though. And like I said, we had a couple of really big storms that had high winds. Took a lot of the leaves down, a lot of trees, but all the ones that had.
Web right in front of us.
Yep, big spider web there. This is an area, though. You can try to check down here and see for footprints. And if I'll look at it, especially like through the thermal, if I see anything that sticks out, then I'll hop down there. But otherwise, I have spider webs hanging across my camera for some reason. Told you, it's still look at it's hanging, it's streaming off of my camera. Yes.
Like literally right there. Need some help with that? There you go.
So we definitely have something that is letting us know. I honestly think the rocks, they're a couple things. I think they're to see what reaction they get out of us. 'Cause I think they like the reaction. It's literally entertainment for them.
Yeah.
And the other one is, I honestly think it's like a marking, like they're marking our progress, or like where we're at with the hits. So they're like, okay, they're over in this spot. But honestly, I think especially when we start shining the lights around, they start getting to where they want to. They like seeing our reaction.
Yeah, probably. And then we're over here trying to get reaction from them.
Yeah.
And interaction with them.
Yeah. Everybody always asks, where is Bigfoot? No one ever asks, how is Bigfoot?
Yes. How are you doing today? Feeling okay today?
Yeah. You remember it's from the Jack Link's commercial. His name is Daryl.
Daryl the Bigfoot.
I'm just trying to do thermal scans through here because I will sometimes pick up things that are far back in there. But I literally am having the top end of my heat thing is 39 degrees, so that's definitely nothing alive. If I jumped up and hit something that was in the 60s or 70s out here right now, that would be something alive. So we'll just go a little bit further over here, and then we'll have to turn back because we'll hit a property line here. And then we got the whole other side to deal with. Okay, you can hear that. The noise pollution, we're less than a mile from Interstate 90. We hear some of their traffic. And you hear that? That's people hitting the rumble strips, probably because they're falling asleep driving at midnight.
Hey there, Daryl the Bigfoot. Are you feeling sleepy? Hungry tonight?
Okay. Alright, so this is, this is technically the Tinker's Hollow woods. If I continued walking on this way, probably about a mile,
Yeah.
we would run into the Tinker's Hollow bridge and we would be on the doctor's property. It's down there. Go just a little bit further up here, over across, you see where this island is. I haven't scanned this side much. Let's see, you got the steep ridge line over there. Thermal shows it pretty good, the layout. It is much more difficult for everything, including the terrain, to hide from this thermal camera. I have even found mice. One time it was literally probably 20 yards in front of me, had a mouse run across the woods, and my thermal picked it up.
Yeah, I remember that. The mice running around.
Okay, so this is about right where this branch. This is about the end, and let's look at that. So we got to kind of turn around and head back.
Does it go any further?
It does go back further, but it goes on to we're getting onto someone else's property at that point.
Okay.
And
No markers back there?
yeah, not really. I had to look at the property line and see exactly where we can go and then estimate it on the map. So
I'm just gonna go past this little tree.
Go around them. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's in part because we're kind of like getting onto someone else's property.
Go head back then and go to the other side.
Alright, well, I'm not catching any kind of heat signatures worth mentioning. Now, I do post the thermal video of this usually a day after. If you're watching the main video and you think you see something, mark that time down. Well, not only that, put it in the comments, but then when the thermal video comes out, the times are going to be pretty darn close maybe a few seconds off one way or another. And if you think you see something there, you can check the thermal and either confirm that there is something there or confirm that something isn't there. And like I say, I try to keep a close eye on this, but I literally catch, again, 35%, I think is what my rate is. I just had someone actually catch something large that was probably a deer, looking at the shape of it, that was running by me and my friend John when we were in the Ashtabula Gulf, and neither of us heard it, but clearly there on the thermal. Well, actually, we were hearing some little noises, but we couldn't tell what it was. And the deer was able to pretty stealthily move away from us. But the thermal did capture it. There's sometimes I get to a point where I start looking for the eye shine. And sometimes, and even the deer, if they keep their head away from me, I don't see their eyes. Sorry, that's me breathing. All that fog in the air there, that's just my breath. And I'm almost like, I'm hesitant to turn the camera off. That's when something will happen. It's exactly when something happens. All the time. So again, you can see glow stick. And we'll be able to check that from the covered bridge. So it's the Tinker Hollow side, the side that's coming out of Bigfoot Canyon. Now we gotta go up back to the covered bridge, walk across the covered bridge, and head over onto into the canyon. Bridge up here. It is harder with the water noise. Catching some of that, you can hear some water coming down right over there. And it's dripping and making some background noise. Again, not every noise is a Bigfoot or a cryptid or even an animal. Some things just are natural, and so you always have to try to investigate the noise. I want to see Marianne back there, and you can see my glow stick. It's one of the things I want to do as I get away from it, making sure I can still see that glow stick. So I want to see if something wants to mess with it. So We'll have to see if our pack of critters is still over there when we get onto the other side. Okay. Truly Cherry. Never heard of it. Okay. Interesting. I was wondering what kind of drink is that? Hard seltzer. Okay. I'm pretty much a non-alcoholic. Okay. And never been much of a drinker. But also with some of my conditions that are service connected, literally alcohol is poison to me. Okay. Okay. I want to see. Intentionally putting the light away there, trying to see if I can make out that glow stick. Unfortunately, I catch it for a split second and then it's gone. Trying to see if I can see the glow stick. There it is. Okay, so we do got it there. It's there. And we got more graffiti. Now this one in particular, I'll bet you $100 it was a male who drew that.
Oh, it's a rocket. We call them rockets.
Oh yeah. And written on said wanker, it says, "Steve loves Lois." Okay.
Okay, nice.
Well, that makes it romantic now.
Yeah, when you mark the name.
And this is Steel Wheel Bandits. Okay, this is where I need a free hand to put my palm into my face. So that's like a group of country kids who think they gangsta. Now I say it like that. I worked in a Ohio State prison for 22 years, and no gangster. And I know country boys ain't gangsta. But they can go on and keep telling themselves that. That's why I love it's like, I don't like people graffitiing things, but if they do, I'm going to mock them. It's just my nature. I do have to preference that my native language is sarcasm. So you may not pick up on it, but trust me, it's there. Okay, now we got, I'm not sure what the heck that is. It's somebody else trying to write gangsta out here in the hood of Monroe Township. Monroe Township is the largest township in land area in Ohio. So big area of land with about 2,000 people maybe. So not a whole lot of people, a lot of land, not a lot of people. And there's no main streets in Monroe Township. There's roads, most of them are dirt. Okay. But I guess we got to look out for the Monroe gangsters. So here's where we got to cross some mud. And I gotta do a bit of an equipment adjust here, because I do have a knife, but I usually always keep it on my left side, and for some reason it's on the right. So securing some of my gear so it doesn't make any noise as well. And another thing I want to do real quick. Okay. Now, this is one of the few places where I literally had to walk carrying the hole puncher in my hand because it was that creepy. What's that?
Is another path?
There's paths that run all zigzag all through here. Okay. Don't wander off too far. Yeah, spider webs. And surprisingly, some of these puddles are not as big as I thought they would be. So Mary Ann's going over that way just a little bit. Somebody left their water bottle again. A lot of fishermen come down here, four-wheelers obviously, because they tear it up. Now look at, when you see it from the distance, it looks like two people with their flashlights, but that's one. It's a neat trick, actually. Okay, so I usually curve down and stay near the river for at least a little bit. She may want to go inwards. Again, this is kind of at a, we'll go on, there's a bend up here. So it's kind of a U-shaped, kind of horseshoe-shaped area, very similar to Indian Mound Park. Unfortunately, no, look at the acorns are on the ground like crazy because all of them got knocked out. We had winds that, topped 50 miles an hour come through here. We had two different storms that came since the last time I was down here. It's knocked every nut off the tree. I mean, it is mid-late October. Now see, I seen that coming, and I seen the acorn rolling on the ground. Okay, so that sounded like a rock hit, but that was an acorn dropping. Evidently, there are still some on the trees. But again, just because I hear a noise, thought I seen something fly through there. But just because I hear a noise doesn't mean that it is anything unnatural. When you look at it, it's like something set those on fire. Okay, so we got some of these paths that kind of wind in here a little bit, but for now I want to kind of stick towards the edge. I want to see if we find any critters. I have found raccoons in the trees over here in the past, and again, this is there's a lot of oak trees around here, and the floor is literally covered with acorns. And hear some of them crunch as I step. So definitely try to give you all the details. So I don't think there's many of those acorns left at this point, but there may be some. Okay, so I'm gonna try and thermal scan this. Try to look in here. And you cannot forget about this side. I see a big spider coming down on its string right there that I have, like, half of it's hanging on my equipment. The spiders aren't dead yet, even though it's been pretty cold. So notice where I hit even little puddles of water. They're a little bit warmer than everything else. Okay, just making sure I can still see her. I thought I heard a noise, but that might have been her. Looking at how these branches are standing straight up and down. Huh. Again, could be natural, could be human, or something else. I'll leave it for you guys to decide. And I am just plowing through spider webs left and right. I do want to stay up over here as we get close to where those critters were, and it's close to where I had the daytime sighting. There's somebody has this marked up there with their white dots. And this is a spot where some people have set up campfires in the past. And they've definitely left their litter out here. Which, as you know, gigantic pet peeve of mine. Right at this bend here, look at how you got the river is going over that way and it bends around right here. Then you got that gigantic tree is right at the bend. I don't think that's coincidental. What it means, I don't pretend to know. But I don't think it's coincidental. Okay, so this was over where we were seeing all those eyes. And over here is where I had the daytime sighting. Here I-90. people running over those rumble strips. But anyway, straight across here is about there. It's where I had the sighting in the daytime. You can see water's pretty deep. Okay, but I was seeing those critters all over here because I recognized those branches down on the water. And they were all along over here. And looks like they moved along to somewhere else. I don't got anything, but we have, and here's what I'll show you guys this. This is why I call it Bigfoot Canyon. Look at this massive, straight up, steep wall. Forest at the top, too. That would be, if I was walking in those woods there, you just come right to the edge. It'd be a long way down. Okay. So some of this we got to check because some of the puddles on this path make it impassable. I got to make sure I go the right way, which usually I end up going the wrong way and have to backtrack around it. Yep. This is an area where I don't think I'm going to be able to get around this. And I don't feel like going into that. That looks nasty. Okay, there's a big tree down here. It's kind of blocking going that way. I just heard something going to the water there. Did you hear that noise? Something plopped into the water.
What is that? That's a rock.
What's that?
That's a rock right there. Here.
Yeah.
It just
Right
like
there?
leaped. Yeah, and then there's one right there.
Yeah. Yep.
And it just like leaped out in. It might be one of the fisher cats or the otters or.
Oh, it was one of those things? Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was a small.
Yeah.
Yeah, dip. It wasn't a big dip.
Okay. That may have been some of the family of the whatever we were catching the eye shine on earlier because they were all right over here by that.
Yeah, I spotted two of them over here.
Okay. So they were just on this side.
Yeah, they're over there.
Ooh.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
it's over here.
What?
I just heard it again.
I just heard something hitting a tree back here.
Wow, we heard two different sounds. It sounded like it was going up in the water and then went back down. So I wonder if it's one of the fishes, rainbow trout.
We got, well, they do, they make, yeah, they make, because they're always going upstream, they'll jump and everything. Here, we got to go this way because that way's flooded. I heard a clink on a tree over here. See, I got a spider web filled path going back that way. And this is the area more where I want to be. All right. Oh, that was another rock hit. That clinked loud. Just had a rock clink over here off of this tree. Yeah, so it probably came from in here. But it nailed solidly on the side here, this tree right here. Which means not an acorn because it went sideways.
You want to put a glow stick up back here or something?
Let me see what I got with me. I don't have a whole bunch of them left. Got some of them in the car. So I gotta try to feel around, see if I can find one of them. Okay. And unfortunately I'm finding everything else but glow sticks. I don't think I have any with me. Yeah, I think I left the other glow sticks in the car. There's Miriam on the thermal. So you can see what a human looks like on that. Size reference. Okay. Okay. Swear that was another rock that just went through there. But I didn't see that one hit. The other one I've seen where it hit. Okay. So this is one of those. This is another down and back path. So whatever we face, we gotta, once we get to the end, we gotta turn around and walk back through it. I want to see if there's a way up closer to the water. We got some lakes here. Yeah, we can get around it. There's our high cliff wall. The canyon wall, I should say. Spider right in front of me. So this is the place that got me videoing these hikes, because coming down here and having stuff happen, realized I needed to start videoing them. Okay. definitely have tracks here, deer tracks. Pretty fresh ones too. And I'm trying to see, it just looks like just deer. It looks like several of them, they've beaten this path down. Look at our yummy little puddle right up here. I can still get around it. Okay, trying to swing at spider webs here. And I'm still eating them across the face. Jeez. They are all over. And they're sticky. They're like sticking to everything. Okay, so I don't really have much of anything, but lots of spider webs. Flashlight is nice and hot. Let me put that up here. 147, 48 degrees. At the handle, it's about 118, 119. Keeping my hand nice and toasty because it is cold out. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy here. So I'm thinking, it's like, okay, should I, if I pause the camera for a little bit, I'm telling you, that may be when the most interesting thing happens the entire night, and then I don't have it on camera. Look at this big creepy tree in the middle here. Okay, so up ahead here is part of where the river goes more into like a rapid area, and it's a lot louder. I'm gonna look around here a little bit because I'm smelling like smoke from a campfire. Good. Okay. I am thinking we may need to cut this and do a part 2. See what happens. Then we got the whole trip back. Okay, so I am going to kill the camera for a little bit. Alright. Like, subscribe, and share. Look for part 2. Alright, God bless you.